Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am back with another video and surprise surprise, this time it's not a track guide. Today we are back in Road Atlanta comparing V8 cars available for selection in World Sim Series COVID V8 Championship. Even though V8 Supercars class is strictly regulated with cars being based on defined chassis parameters and sharing a lot of common parts, manufacturers still manages to make them their own. And as you will see, differences are pretty apparent. For the testing, I am using basic setups, with only small tweaks to brake force and brake balance, but I will mention what I use for each one. So let's not waste any more time and jump into Holden, the car I chose for the series. Now during this test you have to remember that I have been driving Commodore for quite some time now. I am used to it, and for me it's much easier to achieve good lap times than with other cars. So from lap time alone, it does not mean it's slower or faster. Anyway, Holden feels like you would expect a heavy front engine car to feel. Turn-in is pretty good, but lots of understeer mid-corner. I noticed that it really reacts well on trail braking, especially if you have your brake balance far to the back, as I have it here set at 58%. You have to be careful in heavy braking zones though. V8 Supercars don't have ABS, and if you are too eager on the brake pedal, it can easily lead to back-end stepping out. One of the key traits of this class is locked rear diff, which adds even more to cars' unwillingness to turn mid-corner and off-throttle. It reminds me of driving a kart with slick tires in the rain. You need to add some throttle input to make it turn, because otherwise it just wants to go straight. Holden also reacts well on throttle input, and that really helps it to rotate. The only problem is that it is very easy to overdo it and it starts sliding right away, making corner exits tricky. So the lap time with Holden around Road Atlanta is 1 minute 22.269. This is not the fastest time I can achieve, but I did it in just a couple of laps after driving Ford and Nissan before. Let's switch to Ford now and see how it feels. So after a couple of warm-up laps, I can instantly feel that Ford is more reluctant to turn. Even though all of V8 cars weigh the same, Falcon somehow feels heavier. It maybe is a bit less bouncy as well, adding to the feeling that way, but for sure turn-in and mid-corner grip seems worse on default setup. Where this car also feels different compared to Holden is on throttle. It seems that it does not start to slide nowhere near as early. It is really good for accelerating out of the corner when you have done your turning, but getting on throttle does not help turning as much as it does in Holden. Just keep in mind that I'm not saying it does never slide. Actually, if you overdo it, Ford Falcon has a tendency to get into snap oversteer. It's good that it's not too hard to catch, but it will impact your lap time a lot. One more thing I noticed is that Ford's steering ratio is lowest of the three cars, which means you really have to turn the steering wheel more to get the same amount of turning. Falcon's lap time around Road Atlanta is 1 minute 22 seconds .471. Now, I was thinking that maybe I should try and make the setup to make Ford faster. If you would be interested to see that, let me know in the comments below. On to the Nissan we go, and what a different beast this Altima is. It feels much more nimble than both previous cars, as the turn-in is incredible. You barely need to turn the wheel to send the car into the corner. Now, I am not telling you that it loses its front engine characteristics. No, it still understeers mid-corner, but the initial part of it feels like a breeze. But there is a saying, with great power comes great responsibility, and it is really true for Nissan. Even though it feels agile and nimble, it also requires you to be very precise with your inputs, as it punishes you with all the small mistakes you make. I felt like there is huge speed potential in this car, but after driving Holden and Ford, I really needed to readjust my driving style and always felt scared to push it to the limit. Traction on throttle is not easy as well. It feels like Nissan is even more slidey than Holden, and you really need to be careful. Basically, the Altima just wants to rotate everywhere. Well, except maybe mid-corner. Nissan's lap time is 1 minute 22.278. So to summarize, I think Ford is the slowest out of the box, but it's the most suitable for less experienced drivers if you don't overdo it. Holden is a nice mix between the two. It's more slidey, but it's also more eager to turn. Nissan seems to have the highest potential with the Fold setup, but it really requires precise style of driving, so not suitable for everyone. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video and it was helpful. If you did, press like and please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions, put them down in comments below. See you soon!